Welcome to No Question About That. This is the Mailbag pod with me, Ed, and that's Isabel. It's been a while, Isabel. How's it going?
Very good. How are you?
Oh, doing all right. Yeah. I was going to say I kind of enjoyed the international break so far, sort of. I mean, England game was extremely boring and pointless.
Yeah, I mean, it's always I like watching England, but they are quite boring. So that's yeah.
I think that is going to be Tuchel's England. I mean, it might win England a World Cup, but I don't think they're going to be playing lots of exciting football. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we had to close the window since we last did a pod, so I thought we could just kind of wrap that up a little bit. How are you? I mean, haven't had you on a pod for a while, so how are you feeling about the deals overall? Excited by the players who've come in?
I am definitely excited by the players that have come in. I think a couple of them I did not think we would get. And Bruno is definitely a standout for me. I've always loved Bruno.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a positive. I mean, overall, I don't think the transfer window was amazing. I think we definitely should have got more players, but I guess you always think that. But I mean, so far, I'm happy with the signings. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll all turn out to be good,
Yeah.
which is the opposite to what happened under Ten Hag when they were basically all rubbish, pretty much. So, well, I guess there's still a question mark over last year with Ugarte. Not sure he was the right pick. I'm pretty sure he wasn't. Apart from that, I think most of the Ineos era purchases have worked out okay. And Bruno is super exciting. Love him already. Cunha, lovely player. Cisco, we'll see. What I've seen of him at Leipzig, I think there's a lot to offer there. I don't think he's fit yet, so much more to come there. And Senny Lomans, as he calls himself, Lomans. I'm going to try and get that right. Who knows? I mean, I've seen all the same YouTube clips that everyone else has, so that's all I know of him. Hopefully he's good. Can't be worse than the other two. I mean, literally can't be worse than the other two. Are chucking a goal in every game at the moment.
Well, that's it, isn't it? I'm just happy that we've signed a new goalkeeper, to be honest, because I'm already fed up of them too. So
Yeah.
Can it be any worse? I don't know.
In the bin. Yeah, it's interesting the kind of strategy United have taken with quite a few of the exits now. Is to basically to force them out. I mean, Højlund, I like him as a chap, and I always thought there was a player there somewhere, but it just seemed to disappear completely last year. He just forgot how to be a striker. And he's a United fan. He just really desperately wanted to play for the club, but he wasn't going to go. He kept saying, I'm going to fight it out, and then they just forced him out. And same with Onana. It's almost even more brutal with Onana. They dropped him first just to make clear that he wasn't going to play in order to get him out the door. So he's lucky he's gone to Turkey because he'll make lots of more money there because they have flat rate tax. So he'll double his money basically. So maybe that was an incentive.
Yeah, I mean the Onana thing especially, I'm sort of in a way shocked, which sounds stupid because I think I don't rate Onana, to be honest, and I don't really want him in my squad, but it's the way that it just sort of has happened that quickly. Obviously played every game last season nearly, and then suddenly just to be dropped this season when I don't think his performances have suddenly been any worse. I find that a bit interesting, but yeah, I mean it's probably the right choice.
Yeah, I think Amorim lost faith months ago and they couldn't do the deal because the player didn't want to leave. Is my take on it. I mean, I don't particularly have any inside information there, but I think that's basically what happened, and that's why it's ended up being so late. I mean, he's not gone to one of Turkey's biggest clubs, Besiktas, Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, so it's a tier down. I think he's a better keeper than that. He is a good keeper, and he didn't chuck this many in when he was at Inter. He just didn't. I think his confidence eroded. He's making mistakes. He's trying to gamble. Takes a step the wrong way quite often. The aerial stuff, I mean, I guess that is a weakness and people have found it out. Same with Bandier, to be honest. So I don't know whether Lomans will fix this or not. He is pretty good in the air from what I see. He's at least very proactive. He's not afraid of trying to catch a ball.
That's it, isn't it? We need someone a bit more confident. I think that is actually, I agree. Probably the thing with Onana is he just did lose his confidence. And like you said, I don't think he's a bad keeper at all. I just think he does make silly mistakes, and I think his shot stopping isn't great. And unfortunately, in the Premier League, the teams are good. You need to be more on it. So yeah, it just hasn't really worked out. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. The depth in the Premier League is incredible at the moment. I mean, it's very likely that the relegated clubs this year will be about the same standard as the team that Onana's gone to, maybe even actually better when you think about the money available to newly promoted clubs. So, yeah, standards are really high. Everyone's got a set-piece coach of some kind now. Everyone knows everyone's weaknesses. There's just nowhere to hide. And I think that's found Andre Onana out, and he seems like a nice chap and all of that. I don't really wish him ill. It definitely hasn't worked out. And I guess one of the things is kind of interesting. We've got questions on this actually. Is we were promised by Barada that you've got 2 years to prove yourself, otherwise you're out, and it's kind of coming true, right? This is a new, more brutal era. And in the past, Edward would have handed Andre Onana a new contract, I imagine. So good for the club, I guess.
Brutal, but I think that is the best way. You know, you give a player a season to settle in, because it can take a while, and especially if they're not, you know, they haven't come from the Premier League. I do think it's hard to settle into a Premier League team, and especially Man United as well, because it's such a big club, and there's a big, you know, pressure coming to the club. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got a few questions on this. So Mailbag Pod, usual international window. Let's see where we are. We've got a lot, so we might not get through all of them. So sorry if we miss you out. We'll do our best. Down Under Devil, Shimmy's from Australia here, says, is it too romantic to want Bruno to finish his career at United? Because I want him there when everything kicks into gear, because he deserves it. Next year we may get 70 odd million for him, but is that really worth it? Want Bruno to stay, or you're a Bruno sell?
Oh, I'm torn, but I'd sell Bruno. I just think Bruno, I always say this, and I think I do pick on Bruno, and I don't know why, but I think he just gives the ball away too much. And I don't think he does many other things wrong. I just think that causes so many problems in a team. You really can't give the ball away. And I know other players do it as well, but just looking at Bruno in particular, he does give the ball away a lot. You can't be doing that. At least so many goals, and we've seen it so many times over the last couple of years with Bruno. With that being said, I think he's a really good captain. I like his mentality. He is a really good player. So there's probably more Bruno than cons. So in that sense, maybe keep him, but I don't know. It's a difficult one with Bruno.
Yeah, I mean, I don't find it difficult at all. I wouldn't sell him for any money, but I love Bruno. I'm not worried about him giving the ball away, because it's all in service of trying to create chances. So he's about 150 chances above the next best since the time he joined United. So he creates more than anything. And the possession stuff, Kevin De Bruyne used to have a 75% pass completion rate. You know, you take risks, you're going to give the ball away. So I don't think it's too dangerous, really. Yeah. But I think the thing that may prompt United to sell, obviously the money, I guess, but money's only useful if you can invest it well, right? So you got 70 million for Bruno or whatever, let's just make a number up. Are you going to get a better player? Are you going to improve your team with that money? I think that's a hard one to say, just given his numbers. He's playing a deeper role, and I think that's the question, really. Does Amorim want him? This year, United are going to play quite direct. The stats already show it. They're just going to get the ball forward really, really quickly. And Bruno does that brilliantly. That's how Amorim's using him. I think he wants two sort of physical monsters in there, you know, probably. We'll see what kind of profiles of player he does get eventually, but I'd imagine the four that he's got at the moment, that he doesn't actually want them. Now, whether he's still here is another question. All right, we had a bunch of questions about Seiko Kone. Do you think there's a plan to use him in central midfield in the coming months? Says Mick. Jonathan says Kone has legs, might be a bit raw, but an option if someone gets injured with the Collie alone, and so on. So Seiko Kone, I mean, looks really raw to me. There was a report in The Athletic saying there is a plan to get him in the first team this season. I think there's a lot of talent there, and he is of the profile. What do you think? Seen much of him?
I've not seen so much of him, but I think just in the sense that he's a young player. I have nothing against young players coming into the squad and trying to make their name in the first team squad at all. I think it's great, and I think Manchester United, is known for bringing up younger players. So definitely, I'd put him in the squad, give him a go. And I think we could probably use all the midfield players we can get. And I definitely, with Collier going on loan, I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely space in the squad, isn't there?
Yeah.
I guess there aren't really the games. No more.
That's it, yeah.
I was going to call it the Carling Cup. Jesus, Carabao Cup. No more Carabao Cup. We should be back in that. We should have I know it's petty, but they fielded an ineligible player for 37 seconds or whatever it was. So, who also missed a penalty. It's just like, how are you going to get him? There's no, like, as we've just said, there's no hiding place in the Premier League. It's not like you're playing Leeds or Burnley or whatever, and you're going to get an easy game. So that's the challenge. But I see some stuff I like. All right, Chris, friend of the show, Liverpool fan, our friendly Liverpool fan. Boo. Given United's current situation on and off the pitch, how soon do you think it could be before United competing for a league title alongside better run clubs? Better run clubs. Well, that's certainly true over the last 10, 15, 20 years, isn't it? Yeah. What do you think the pathway is for this team?
Oh, do you know, it's scary because I just can't see it. I think we would need, this season, something needs to change. We need to be winning more matches, scoring more goals. I need to see a team effort. We really don't see many good Man United matches. The play just needs to be better. And then I guess, league titles or competing for league titles will, fall naturally, I would hope, if we start playing better. And yeah, I mean, with Manchester United, we need to be competing for league titles. But yeah, it's just not. It's not in the vision right now for me, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I could try and make a case for it that we finish 6th this season, get into European competition, make the right signings next year. The finances have been kind of restructured. We can spend quite heavily next summer, reorganise the squad, get into the Champions League. You can kind of make an argument. It's hard to, that's just kind of theoretical argument, isn't it? What we actually see from Amorim's team is just nowhere near that. I mean, I do think United will end up winning more matches playing the way we've seen, given it's only 3 games, but they are just getting the ball forward very quickly, bypassing the weakness, which is midfield, so not playing a lot of possession stuff, not really trying to build up too intricately from the back. It's get it into the wide areas, get it into Bruno and Cunha in the half spaces, and probably, with the quality of players we've got up front now, that we'll score more than 44 goals. So I can sort of see a mini pathway there, but it does depend on results, right? Amorim's just got to get results.
That's it. And there's not like a guidebook to win a league title. Like, sometimes it can just be luck. Obviously, the way to compete is to, have better performances. And like you said, I think with the signings of Mbeumo and Cunha, there is definitely already, I'm seeing much more positive play going forward, more attacking abilities, which is a big thing for Manchester United. We need that because we've always, well, not always, but the recent seasons we've struggled, just scoring goals and in the final third, we're struggling. So if we can improve that this season, I guess that would be, maybe the start of the pathway to competing for league titles again, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. So it just feels so far off. All right, Alan Wilson says, thoughts on the bomb squad, specifically how the environment has changed now they've gone. Did they affect team environment, morale of other players who did give a shit? An Anna late controlled explosion? I mean, I guess it was a controlled explosion. Not quite sure what you're saying there, Alan. I guess I've been accused of being more positive about Marcus Rashford and Garnacho than the general popular sentiment. That said, I mean, what I had understood of what was going on there was much less about disruption in the squad and much more about what Amorim wants out of his players. And I think you see that in the profiles of players we've brought in, very, very different than Garnacho and Rashford. Now, Garnacho, like, the argument would be that he had a very high ceiling and therefore you want to see him develop the kind of wastefulness in front of goal, which he was very wasteful in front of goal. That's the thing that coaches like, because they think they can coach it better. Rashford, he's had 2 bad years, maybe 2.5 bad years, and so it's up to him now to his new environment and be good and make us regret it. We'll see whether that's true or not. So I think it's more about profile than disruption per se. I know fans hate the social media stuff. Just like, why? Why do you care? There's stuff with, do you see Kobbie Mainoo, one picture from Whiplash, the film, which is about, a guy who's got super passionate about what he's trying to achieve and stuff like that. And like, it seems so little controversy and yet people are fucking melting down over it. Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling on. Right. Do you feel a different environment now with players out?
I mean, I think unless you're one of loads of fans do it, like you were just saying, look into sort of the more, the media, the really media part of Manchester United, the rumours coming out of the dressing room and the big characters or the attitudes that people have got. To be honest, I don't look into that as much. I'm honestly just more bothered of how they play on the pitch. And I know obviously it all links in, but a lot of the time it is just rumours and you can't sort of count on these rumours as being true. So I honestly just look at performances on the pitch, and I do think Garnacho wasn't good enough. And although interestingly, I don't know if you saw probably that Garnacho had, just announced that he's moved to Chelsea and didn't say anything, thanking Manchester United. And I thought that was interesting because that's getting loads of backlash at the minute as well. Doesn't bother me too much. I don't rate him anyway, to be honest, really. So in that sense, I don't care, but that's a big thing at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there were rumours about team news leaking out again. Was that true? He did speak back to the manager in the dressing room. I think that story has been pretty well confirmed. He did give that sort of snarky, I only played 20 minutes of the final interview. It's not a great look. He is a child. He's behaving like a child there. I mean, you have to be more grown up than that, but sometimes we forget these are kids. I behaved like a complete idiot when I was 20, so the on the pitch stuff, we'll see. Garnacho is up to him now. I don't think it's the best environment, Chelsea, to be like with all the churn, to actually a young player to go develop, but that is their model. So there's definitely stuff there. He understands when to arrive in the box and can improve his finishing rate even a couple of percentage points, then he's going to do really good numbers. So up to him. Yeah, it's not our problem anymore. Yeah. And let's see if he can make us regret it or not. VP says, do you think United's denial of Mainoo's loan deal impacts his opinion of the club's current leadership team? Does the request turn into a permanent transfer request next summer if Amorim makes it through the season? Kobbie Mainoo wanting to get minutes on loan. It was an interesting reaction to this one. Like, some fans really didn't like that. I mean, for me, that's a young player who wants to develop, and that seems to be. Tell me if you think I'm totally wrong here. Seems to be quite humble to say, "Hey, I need minutes to develop. Let me go and play somewhere else if you're not going to play me." I mean, that's not Billy Big Balls, is it? Saying I'm the best, and it's saying, "Hey, I recognise I'm not getting in the team." But did you have a different take on Kobbie Mainoo's request to go on loan?
No, to be honest, I think I agree with you completely. I think it does show a young player, wanting to be better. And he's not saying he wants to leave the club. He's just saying he wants to go on loan. And I think that's absolutely fine. And if he did want to leave the club, that is also okay. I think with Kobbie, I'm sort of not disappointed in him, but disappointed in the situation, because I really think he's a really good player. And I think he has been good for Manchester United. And so I'm sad that he's not being included in the squad right now, or being included on the pitch right now as much as he should. I think I rate Kobbie quite a lot, and I would have him in my squad, but that's just my opinion. I don't know. I think I don't mind him going on loan at all, but then again, I'm disappointed that he's not getting minutes with us. But I do get it.
Yeah.
He wants minutes, and if that's the way he does it is going on loan, then I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he'd get loaned to a better team, which is kind of ridiculous, really, if they did accept it, right? So, I mean, it's all about profile, isn't it? Amorim wants physical players in there who can cover a lot of ground quickly. Mainly runs a lot, as you can see in the running data. right? I mean, he may look like he's strolling at points, but he averages more than Bruno, so he runs a lot.
Yeah.
And the two things he's absolutely elite at is controlling the ball in small spaces under pressure.
That's it.
Takes the ball on half turn, moves away from players, breaks the lines. That would get him into almost every elite Champions League side, just that ability alone. And then he's just a brilliant scanner. He always knows what's going on. Watch the clips of him, just how much he scans and he makes the right pass. His weaknesses, there's the physical stuff. Is he quick enough? Does it matter? I mean, there's plenty of players who've been brilliant and not that quick. So, and then can be a bit braver with his passing. Yeah. That is, again, not really. I mean, it will be this season because they're asking Bruno to get the ball forward quickly. That wasn't how Amorim's Sporting side played. They played quite controlled in possession. So we'll see. It is just a bit odd that you've got a player of that kind of quality and he doesn't see a pathway to minutes because he's been told publicly, which I don't think was the best communication, that he's behind Bruno, who plays every single game. So I'm not surprised he's thinking World Cup, I'm just not going to play. And Tuchel, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, really. He didn't pick any United players and he claimed it was about fitness and minutes, and yet he picked a bunch of players who played no minutes this season, including Miles Lewis-Skelly, who's a brilliant player, but he's played like 30 minutes this season. Anyway. Yeah. Michael Berger says, Mainoo versus Amorim, is there a route to Mainoo getting back in the team? Well, we sort of talked about that. Is the loan request an affront to his master plan? Or does he just not rate him? I think it's just profile, as I said. I think he's got an idea of the kind of players he wants. And Kobbie will never be that kind of player. It doesn't watch this space in 2026 summer because he'll have a year plus one, the usual United thing, on his contract. They may do a deal there, which would be really very sad, I think. Just because we all want United to win, but it's part of the identity of the club. Local player comes through, plays for the team. All right, Pete says, considering our two best players last year are best at 10, and given the options we already had there, was it a squad building mistake to sign 2 more 10s? Yeah. I mean, it's a kind of interesting one, is it? Like, if you had finite money, we could only spend so much. Would it have been better signing a brilliant midfielder, like a Baleba or something like that, and playing Bruno at number 10 rather than signing Cunha and Mbeumo? I don't know. I like both those players, though, so that's the thing. I'm glad they're in our squad. But would we have been better signing a central midfielder?
Yes. I think we would have, to be honest. And I really love the signing of Cunha and Mbeumo. Both of them Premier League proven, which is definitely something that I was hoping for this summer transfer window. I just don't understand the whole thousands of number 10s problem. I don't understand it. And I think Bruno is a number 10. He needs to play higher up the pitch. And I just don't really see how Mount, Cunha and Bruno can all fit in together. And it has worked and it does sometimes work and they look good sometimes. But I just think if you're trying to, make a solid squad, are they the right players to all work together? And that's why that sort of links into, I wouldn't mind if Bruno was to go next year because we've got other number 10s. But then that being said, I do think Bruno would probably get that, in my opinion, would get that number 10 position over the other two. But I don't know. I think it's a bit crowded up front, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, it is. There's too many players. You didn't even mention Xerxes there.
Well, yeah.
He's not really a number 9, is he? So, yeah. Xerxes, Mount, Cunha, Ahmad, and Bueno and Bruno all kind of are better in that position than elsewhere. Yeah. I mean, Cunha and Bueno, I really like him. I would pick Bruno ahead of them all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, also that problem you said with the possession stuff, it matters so much less when it's in the final third, and that's where you can do the damage as well. So it was slightly odd, but I think we're seeing the reason why, right? They want Cunha to drop back into the half spaces and Mbeumo to stretch the game, as Amorim said.
Yeah.
It's direct balls, and it did work against Burnley for a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been United's problem for 12, 13 years now, squad building. Like how to do it and understanding what the right kind of profiles. It still seems like managers are driving this rather than the technical department. Is that right or not? I'm not sure it is. All right. Clayton DaCosta says, do you think United have the money to get a Blaber or another midfielder in January after the late sales in the window, especially if United are making a push for European spots by Jan? Do we have the money? No, but they'd put it on their Bank of America line of credit and it would be pulled forward from next summer's budget. That's what they were planning to do with Blaber. They just got quoted a massive figure because Brighton weren't ready to sell. I don't think they'd be selling in January either. Have Brighton ever sold a big player in January? I don't think so.
No, I'm not sure.
No, and they didn't go for any of the other midfielders. I mean, there were a few available for reasonable amounts of money they could have gone for and they didn't. So I think he's the guy they want. And it will happen next summer. If it happens at all, there's just going to be a lot of competition.
Yeah.
So. Sorry, Clayton, don't think it's happening. Adam says, we seem to be buying statistically good players, Cunha and Bruno, Lomans. Do you think this will work, or is there a risk of buying players who've had an anomalous season the year before? Yeah, I don't think there are anomalous seasons, but it is freaky how much Cunha and Bruno overperform their XG, their underlying data. And the logic would tell you that they would revision to the mean is true and they would go back to scoring 7-8 goals this season rather than 20. They just seem to be good players who put away difficult chances.
Yeah. Bit of a thing with Manchester United. But no, I think, they're good players, and I know I've said this before, but Premier League proven players, them too, and they look good already. And Bruno's got 2 goals, which is bonuses. And obviously, I definitely think there's more to come. And I definitely think there's some to come for Cunha as well. So I think definitely both good signings.
Yeah. And the statistical piece, yes, it's a concern. Lomans, I think there's been a lot of good analysis done on him now. He's come to the club. Everyone's been poring over the clips. He had a freakishly good season last season, basically his first season as a pro. Saved everything, 80-something%. Which is an incredible save percentage. Catches like everything as well. Really high cross-catch rate. He's very, very proactive. I mean, just what I see from the clips, he's always coming for the ball. He's very early attacking forwards who've got one-on-one. Not that happens very often. It seems to me that, he, as long as he doesn't lose his confidence and shrink under the pressure, that we will like this player. Likely he's going to make some mistakes, which happens, but it's just as long as it's not one a game, which is basically what's happening now. So I'm not worried about United being more data driven. I mean, I think a few of the data nerds have because United have put out communications, which just, and in their press release there's a few data points mentioned and not the tons and tons of underlying data, and some of the data nerds have been making fun of that. Like United looked at their FB ref page, picked out the 5 top players for 3 categories of data and went, yeah, all right, we'll have that player. It's not going to be that. So they have a new head of data science, so it's much more depth. Simon Falk says, when Bayindir signed, it was accepted that he was always going to be backup. There's lots of hope Lomans will become number 1 as soon as possible. Why should we be more confident about Lomans than we were about Bayindir? Is it simply out of desperation? Is there more to it? Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I hadn't seen Bayindir. He was a Turkish international. There's a few nice parts to his game. His passing's actually pretty good. I was surprised about how crisp it is, how brave he is with it. Kind of thing we expected from Manana. But apart from that, he's basically rubbish, isn't he? And we paid €5 million for him because he's rubbish. So you don't get good players for €5 million.
No. And I definitely, it is probably part desperation on my side anyway.
Yeah,
it definitely is. Yeah. But that's it, isn't it? I don't think we can get much worse. Sorry, Bayindir. And if Onana, does go, I think, why not give him a chance? But you do have to give him a chance. This is the thing, he's a young keeper, even though he has got good stats. He might, it can take a year for someone to settle in. So I think you've just got to stick with the player, and it can't just be he's going to be great, because that it isn't likely. He might settle in amazingly all of a sudden, but it probably will take a little bit of time. So as long as people stick with him, I'd have him first choice 100%. Why not?
Well, I mean, it's kind of almost a case of, like, could it be any worse? I would be really surprised if Lomans is in the side against City, just because they don't come back to training until Wednesday.
Yeah.
And so he'll have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, basically, training with the squad. That's not enough time to...
No.
Both on the set-piece routines and, like, how they distribute it from the back and all the patterns. I'd be really surprised if Lomans is in the side. So it's Bayern Deer who's going to be in the side against City. Hey, football always shocks us, so we could be shocked on that one. But I think they'll give him time to integrate into the team and just get comfortable with everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the same theme, Richard Lewis says, so is Lomans first choice? Does he start in the derby? Feels like a hell of a risk. Yes, hell of a risk. Don't think they'll do it. I'd be really surprised. Too much pressure. It's City and then Chelsea. And then there's a few other... I mean, none of it's particularly easy until the next...
No.
I think we have Sunderland in there, and that's not even a gimme anyway, because they bought really well, Sunderland did this year. Tapped up the French market pretty well.
Every game is hard, so you just got to throw them in somewhere.
Yeah. So at some point, you're right. Yeah. Remember Vidic and Evra, their debuts came against City. Evra got subbed at half-time, went on to be one of the best left-backs in United's history. So, hey, if you have a bad debut against City... Lomans maybe going to become world class. Michael Collins says, our best teams always had 3 or 4 strikers. Why sell Højlund? Do they think Chida Obi will get games this season? I mean, I think it's money. I don't think they're... I mean, maybe they really don't have faith in him because he had such a bad season last season. But wouldn't the best scenario have been for him if he had another striker? I mean, if they had an experienced striker alongside him, would that not have been the best development path for him? And it feels like we're making the same mistake again, almost like everything's on Benjamin Sesko to be great from the off.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
Touch wood. Yeah, it's the same thing, isn't it? We hope he's just a better player.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'd have kept Højlund if we could, but I think they're just looking at the finances, basically. Yeah. So, but you're right. Go back to 99, or like pretty much any side under Fergie, it always had 4 options. York, Cole, Sheringham, and Solskjaer. Man, they'd all get in the team right now. All of them. Peng says, question from my favourite pod, NQAT pod. Oh, thank you, Peng. Brown noser. I won't start watching any United game until we win 3 games in a row. When do you think that'll happen? We haven't won 2 games in a row yet, have we, under Amorim?
You can't give a date on that, unfortunately, because I'd be surprised if that happened as well. But hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, if you're looking at winning 2 games in a row, it could definitely happen in this stretch up to Tottenham second international break. What is it, 6 games until then, something like that? Can't remember exactly. City, Chelsea, Sunderland, Liverpool, Spurs are all in there, so I can't remember the other one, but I'd be surprised to win 3. Sorry, Peng, in that stretch. I mean, Amorim will get more time. If you just looked at results, and it's a results-driven business, I think if he was manager of Barcelona or Real Madrid or any of the big European teams, he'd have been fired by now.
Yeah.
Chelsea, they'd fired him twice, just for the sake of it. But yeah, it's the Ineos project, isn't it? And I think they'll give him a little bit longer, is my feeling on it, unless results are really continue to be he only wins a quarter of games, yeah. RST says, can a DM play CCB? God, this would really wind Darnish up. The defensive midfielder, central centre-back in Amorim's system, trying to shoehorn both Mainoo and Bruno into the side. Well, could they? I think not in the central area. I think in one of the wide areas you probably could, but I don't see a profile of midfielder in our squad who would play. I wouldn't play Kobbie at right-sided centre-back. That would...
Yeah, no.
No. No. Good try, mate. Good try. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. There was a lot of chatter about Lisandro Martinez. He'll be back in sort of November, December time. Hopefully, touch wood. We'll see what he's like. Could he play as a defensive midfielder? I mean, my sense is in Amorim's side, it's less about like being a defender slightly further forward and more about ground coverage. So you'd have to. Yeah. You'd have to cover like 40, 50 yards of space, and you'd also have to be comfortable receiving the ball with your back the field, right? Facing the goalkeeper and turning, and like most centre-backs are not good at that, and I would be really surprised if any of ours could. Maybe Lenny, all right, but I mean, he's going to be a world-class centre-back, so why move him? Yeah. All right, Morton Mabrena, friend of the show, says, how low of a bid could it make for the women's team before Sir Jim would take it? I think he's saying, would Sir Jim buy the women's team? This is what Chelsea did, and Aston Villa, I can't remember if any others did it. It's just a PSR thing. They sold it to themselves. The clubs vote on the rules around what is allowed in PSR or not. They have not banned asset sales. UEFA do. Right? You could not do it under UEFA rules. Would United sell? The thing that I think is stopping United, this is just like a financial game where Sir Jim buys the women's team for 200 million and just puts that money back into the club, basically. But it would make the P&L look much better, and therefore the negotiations with the Glazers to do a full takeover or purchase more shares would just be more difficult because the club looks in a better financial shape. It'd be handing free money to the Glazers, basically, which is why I don't think it'll happen. But anyway, United Women started the season well. 2 wins in Europe, a 4-0 win at the weekend. There's, I would say, quite a few complaints from United women fans about not buying enough players, but that's true every season. Yeah, they're just the third
for every team as well.
Well, yeah, every team. I mean, I think the sense that United are a long way behind Chelsea and Arsenal and probably City now. We just sold a player to them on the women's side of things is probably true. Friend of the show, Tariq Amir, says, do you foresee United's record of having at least one youth team player in the squad ending soon? It's a record that the suits and the football department need to maintain. Yeah, unfortunately, I think there's a fairly high chance it will end this season. Kobbie Mainoo was the only former academy player in the squad against Burnley. As he's growing, he's picked up a lot of injuries. He lost 20 games and 17 games respectively over the last 2 seasons. Like, his body is still developing. That's why he's picking up injuries. I think it's a fairly high chance that record goes at some point.
Yeah.
Would you be sad? Does it mean something?
Yeah, I think to me it does, because I think it's definitely, like I think I said this earlier, it does, Manchester United is known for bringing up youth players, and I definitely think there's something nice about bringing up youth players into the first team squad. So, but I mean, all in all, does it matter that much? I guess no, but I do think it is nice to have youth players in the squad. But I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's part of the club's identity. So that record in its own, I mean, records are there to be broken, aren't they? Right? So it's only like 10 years ago, and Tony Park had done the research and worked it out.
Yeah.
That we started talking about it. But I think it's more the concept of, are United like such an international behemoth media entity that players from all around the world are attracted, and that's what we buy. I mean, it's modern football, right? It's one big market, and like you see this go down to Bundesliga 2, right? And probably half the players are international players as well. It's just a very globalized game, so that's just part of life. I don't think fans care particularly, but it's part of United's identity that we bring young players through. Yeah. Youth, courage, success, right? It says it in the shirts. And so I think it's important from that point of view that we still maintain some local identity. And at the moment, Cobbie's the only one. The other players that are coming through, I mean, there's the Fletcher boys who are local, I guess. I mean, they've grown up in Manchester. I'm trying to think. Jim Thwaites is local, I believe. But there's quite a few that United have dipped into the market and bought as well. Again, youth market, right? Check out all the youth teams in Premier League 2. Very, very international.
Yeah.
Tariq Amir says, friend of the show again, all right, you get 2, Tariq. As the US Open wraps up, which United player, male or female, would be most likely to win a Grand Slam? And who would you like them to beat in the final? It's Bruno. It's Bruno. The answer is Bruno. The answer is always Bruno. He's brilliant at everything. He would be brilliant at tennis as well. I don't know. Maybe Benjamin Sesko. I bet he's got a wicked serve on him. 6'4".
That's true. We'll put it to the test.
Just beat any of the Scousers, really.
Yeah. Yeah, don't care which one.
Yeah, no. Michael Owen. You can beat him. He's being a bit mouthy at the moment. Yeah. By the way, Michael Owen versus Wayne Rooney. It's not even a debate. Wayne Rooney is better than Michael Owen at every single age, even now, when Wayne Rooney is 25 stone and looks like he hasn't gone for a jog in quite a few years. So, yeah. Grimoire85 says, my question is, if Barada's reported 2 years to perform while you're out rule is real, who needs a good year this year, aside from the manager, obviously? Yeah, well, we'll see if he makes it that far. I would pick Manuel Ugarte. There is a there sort of player-ish. But he wasn't good last season, really, was he? He's good at some things. He's not an all-rounder.
Yeah.
So I think he's him. We didn't pay that much for him. We probably, like a £25 million fee next summer. If he's no good, we'd probably balance the books. I don't know. Any others you see at risk?
I mean, to be honest, most of them are probably at risk, but...
Well, that's true.
Yeah, I do. I do agree with you, to be fair. I think Ugarte needs to prove himself a bit. And I do think there's a player there 100%. I think when he first came, he looked better. And then I guess he fell off a little bit. So maybe he can slot into this team again. And yeah, I think we'll see with Ugarte.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he's really the kind of player that Amorim wants. Yeah. I mean, there's also, Patrick Dorgu, we'll see. I like what I've seen from him early this season. He's still quite raw, isn't he? I'd love to upgrade Dalot, obviously. We'll see whether Ahmad can make that position his own. I think there's question marks there. But Dalot, he's obviously been at the club a lot longer than 2 years. And on the centre-backs, both Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire are out of contract in the summer. I'd kind of be surprised if either gets renewed at this stage and they'll buy one more, especially if Matthias de Ligt continues to have a good season.
Yeah.
So... because then it's de Ligt and Yoro plus one more of all the others. Mazraoui, I love having him in the squad. I don't know if he'll start that many games this season, but it's good all round. I wouldn't get rid of it. All right, Tim Bedder says, why have we had such limited options for an out-and-out striker for the last few years? What happens if Sesko gets injured or doesn't perform? Is our backup striker Maguire, or does Obi seem to be trusted yet? Obi hasn't been in the squad this season. He's still got a lot of developing to do. He played a couple of games on tour this summer, didn't he? And the post-season tour, he went on and scored a nice goal in Hong Kong or wherever it was. I'm worried that there is no backup striker. It's Josh Zirkzee, basically, and he doesn't want to play there. Yeah. I guess they've sort of played this false nine system with Mount or Cunha sort of rotating through. And Buma could play there, but he likes cutting in from the wide areas. I think he's better there.
Yeah.
It's a problem. Any backup is a compromise.
Yeah, I think this is the big problem that I think getting rid of Højlund was, well, not rid of him, but giving him on loan. I get it, obviously, but I do think that it's probably not the most cleverest decision. But then again, we have been playing a false nine. Are we going to use Sesko as much as we think we are? I don't know, because I'm not going to lie. Obviously, we've not seen that much of Sesko yet, so I can't have an opinion on him. But I don't have faith in him. Not him in particular, just in the fact that we don't seem to do very well with strikers. And I don't know whether it's their fault or the other players on the team, but it just doesn't seem to work out. So I don't have loads of faith in that position anyway. So the fact that we don't have a backup is worrying.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on him. He's come from Leipzig, who didn't have a very good season last season. He played in a different position. He wasn't even really playing as an out-and-out striker. He played slightly deeper off Luis Openda. There's lots to his game. I like it. His pace is brilliant. His physicality is great. Yeah. He's fantastic in the air. His movement and what you'd call box efficiency, where to run and at what times, is pretty good. And he's a decent finisher. I think that's the reason why he got 13 Bundesliga goals last season rather than 20. Just needs to improve a bit on the finishing. He won't get the same space in England, although I think the transition from the Bundesliga, although they say Bundesliga tax, is easier than from Italy or Spain. France seems to be the area where players, just because it's a physical league as well, just not quite as good, seems to be the one where it's the easiest to transition. So he needs time.
Yeah.
We don't have a backup. Really worrying. Touch wood. I like what I see, but you know, hey, I've liked lots of players over the last 10 years and they turned to be out to be rubbish. So, yeah, there you go. All right, we'll take a couple more. Sushant, this is a good question. Why, when, and how did the hierarchy decide that 3 at the back is our identity? Remember, a lot of noise was made about setting up an identity and then making decisions about the manager.
It's a mess. I don't know. I think it just all links into this sort of, the manager doesn't really know what he's doing in a lot of ways. And I mean, back 3 can be good, but your whole team's got to be behind it. And I'm not sure that it is right now. That's my worry.
Yeah. I mean, I know Amorim is a super detail-oriented coach. And so he talks about principles, which Jose does as well, actually. There's some very good interviews with Jose where he's talking about his principles at coaching. So the tactics change from match to match, but the principles don't. And Amorim's a little bit like that in that he has these ideas about where players should be in what phase of the game and what part of the pitch and what they have to do and the kinds of decisions they have to make in certain phases of game. So he kind of rubbishes the idea that it's about 3 at the back or 4 at the back or whatever. I do think this season, like there's some irony, I guess, to this, that we will see a team that feels a bit more like Manchester United. He's decided to be more direct. It's clear in the data. It's clear from the eye test. I think we will like that as fans more because United teams historically are attacking teams that attack fast. They're not Manchester City tippy-tapping it around the back 17 times before you get into midfield. And so I think we might go, oh, this feels like a United side. And we have to win for that to be true. Yeah. You can't we did some, really quick attacks, but we lost again for the 17th time this season. That's not going to work.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? More goals.
That's more identity, attacking teams that go to attack. That's kind of what we want rather than the worry about 3 at the back or 4 at the back or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. One last question. This is a good one. Andy McCoy says, am I delusional in thinking we'll win another league before this Arsenal do? No, you're not, Andy. You're right. We can't see the end point where we're going to win a title, but Mikel Arteta, that's his limit. He's the bridesmaid, not the bride, always. They will not win the league this season. I'm very, very confident about it. Sadly, that probably means that Liverpool do, but...
We'll take that over Arsenal.
I don't know. I mean, I was young in the 90s, younger. Yeah, that's how time works, Ed. And Arsenal were a big rival in the late 90s, early 2000s. So, I have a bit of natural antipathy towards them just because of that, I think. But obviously, they're not a local rival or anything like that. There's no particular connection with North London here that we care about. So... But yeah, they were just... Arsenal fans are just annoying. I think that's the other thing. They're so online and there's so many of them online. They're just fucking annoying.
Yeah, they are. They actually are. And, as a team as well, they dive so much. And that is one of the reasons why I'm just like, they don't even deserve to win anything. Whereas Liverpool, I think...
Too right.
Earned their way. So that I'll say that. But I think Arsenal genuinely just cheat their way through. And that's what annoys me the most about Arsenal. So...
Yeah, you're right. Dark arts with this Arsenal side, the pulling, the pushing, the fouling, especially at corners and free kicks, the diving, the time wasting, the sitting in a low block. But I think that limits their ceiling. Yeah. Well. Whereas, unfortunately, and I hate to say this, I mean, Liverpool is a proper football club.
Yeah, they are.
They are run the right way. They have good traditions. Obviously, been 100-odd years old, so are Arsenal and all of that. But they will earn their title, as well as spending like £400 million this summer. But, hey, that helps too. Yeah. That's enough praise for Liverpool. Don't do that. You're allowed to do that. You've gone native, having, moved to Liverpool, at least during term time and all that. But, Andy, I think you're right. I don't think Arsenal will win the league under Arteta. I think he will always be a limit on them. And let's see how ruthless Berta is. Andrea Berta, the new sporting director, is ruthless with the squad. Maybe if they don't win it this year, they should fire that guy.
Well.
All right. There you go. Isabel, lovely to have you back on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Catch Isabel's YouTube channel, talk about United. If you're watching this, you can catch us on all the audio apps as well, if you prefer to listen. If you're listening, you can catch us on YouTube, patreon.com/NQAT pod if you want to get our extra show. Thank you very much, Isabel. Thank you very, very much, everyone, for sending in your questions. And we'll catch you after the City game. Bye now.